There comes a time when the search itself becomes the teacher. Not the books, not the teachers, not even the words, but the act of asking itself. Each question chisels away a piece of the unconscious stone. Each silence that follows reveals another contour of awareness. I began to see that we do not really seek answers, we seek the end of uncertainty. We long for a shape that will hold us still, and when it doesn't come, we create one. Meaning, I realized, is not something waiting out there. It's what we make in the act of looking. Every thought is a brushstroke on the canvas of perception. We mistake the image for reality, forgetting that the paint is still wet. When I tried to define my own beliefs and give precise meaning to words I used casually, I felt the limits of my understanding. Where clarity should have been, there was fog. The mind, desperate for resolution, begins to decorate the fog with symbols. It crafts a world out of unexamined words. Heidegger once wrote, "Man acts as though he were the shaper and master of language, while in fact language remains the master of man." I began to see how right he was. Our vocabulary defines our vision. Our words imprison the vast expanse of infinite potential. The question is not what things mean, but how meaning appears at all. And when you sit in stillness long enough, you notice. It appears and disappears on its own, like breath. The ego presents itself as the pilot, but it is a shadow cast by motion. What we call I is a pattern repeating itself just long enough to claim identity. At times I saw it clearly. Thoughts arise unbidden, feelings emerge from invisible roots, and yet there is an unmistakable sense of agency, as though something deeper chooses which notes to play. The paradox doesn't need to be solved, it needs to be seen. We live as if navigating a vast field of potential. Each belief becomes a compass, orienting us in one direction or another. Even the refusal to choose is a form of choice, a quiet vote for inertia. Reality is pliable but not whimsical. It responds to sincerity. When awareness matures, choice stops being an act of control and becomes an act of resonance. As Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." To live consciously is to dissolve the boundary between what acts and what is acted upon. A teacher once asked his students to point to their suffering. They searched the body, the mind, the memory, and could not find what they've been blaming so ardently. He smiled. "See, you can't find what isn't there." That simple cone haunted me. Every problem I had ever cherished dissolved when I looked too closely. The pain was not false, but its ownership was. Suffering feeds on narrative. Strip it of its story and it starts. The mind, however, loves its storms. It builds identities out of them. When awareness turns its gaze inward, the storms reveal themselves as passing weather, intense but temporary. To suffer consciously is to witness the cloud without becoming it. It's not a matter of transcendence or escape. It's the gentle acceptance that there is no enemy within experience, only misunderstanding. The modern mind drowns in data. We measure our lives in notifications and analytics, mistaking information for wisdom. The world grows louder, but meaning grows within. I've seen this in my own life. The more I tried to understand the machinery of the code, the networks, the systems, the more alien it felt. At some point, the mind exhausts itself. It longs not for more knowledge, but for depth. Simplicity then becomes an act of rebellion. To pause and breathe before reacting is to reclaim sovereignty. To create for the sake of beauty, not validation, is to remember the original pulse of being. Thoreau once wrote, "Our life is frittered away by detail. Simplify, simplify." And I would add, simplify not as reduction, but as devotion. Strip away the excess until what remains is unmistakably alive. The work itself becomes the practice. Each week I sit down and speak, not to teach, but to listen. The act of creating has turned into a mirror, revealing where attention flows and where it falters. Through repetition, awareness sharpens. The rhythm of production is not mechanical, it's devotional. Each return to crafting a message is a small ritual, a recalibration of perception. Expression becomes an offering, listening becomes prayer. The deeper I go, the more I see that the search is the destination. There are no gates to enlightenment, only thresholds of perspective. Every time I believe I have arrived, the horizon stretches further. Not as punishment, but as an invitation. Understanding is alive. It transforms as I do. What once felt like chaos now feels like conversation. Perhaps the final insight is that there are no final insights. Only this as a continuous unfolding into greater honesty, gentleness, and wonder. Meaning isn't something to find, it's something to live through, to embody, to let breathe in the spaces between thought and silence. And maybe that's enough.